Okay, welcome back, Year 10. Today I'm going to go through exercise 308, questions 1 and 2. In question 1, they ask you to find the equation of the line that's parallel to each of these. And in question 2, they ask you to find the equation of the line that's perpendicular to all of these. There are two formulas that we're using here. One is y equals mx plus b. That is, if they tell us the gradient and the y-intercept, like they do in A and B, we would use that formula. However, in the other questions where they give us a clue to the gradient and they give us a coordinate or a point, or a clue to the point and the gradient, then we use the point gradient formula. That is, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So just going through these two formulas again, we use this formula when we know the gradient and we know the y-intercept. We use this formula when we know the gradient and one coordinate. So this formula will apply to the first two, and the other four questions here will refer to this one over here. So the first two will be nice and easy. Question A says, find the equation of the line that's parallel to 2x plus 9 and has a y-intercept of 4. So the gradient is 2, the y-intercept is 4, therefore the equation is y equals 2x plus 4. Nice and easy. Question B is nice and easy. They tell us the gradient is 3, they tell us the y-intercept is minus 2, therefore the equation is y equals 3x minus 2. Nice and easy. In question C, they don't tell us the y-intercept. They do tell us the gradient is minus a half, and they give us a coordinate. So we've got the gradient and one coordinate. We have to use this formula here. So I'll do the working on this part here, which you can see. So I'm doing question C. So here's a formula, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. There's our formula. Just make sure it's still recording, which it is. Good. And I'll go on. So y minus 6 equals the gradient is minus a half, x minus 1 or x plus 1. Okay, once again, we've got this fraction. I want to get rid of the 2 on the bottom. I multiply that across. 2y minus 12 equals minus 1 x plus 1. 2y minus 12 equals minus x minus 1. Do they want it in general form, or I'll just see how they want the answer. I'm just going to scroll across here, scroll up to the answer. They want in 308, they want the answer in gradient intercept form. So yep, they want it in that form there. Okay, so just going back down again. Sorry about that, guys. Just completing this question. Where are we? Here we are, here. Okay, just completing that question. They want it in gradient intercept form. Right, so we'll plus the y across. No, sorry. Great, so they want it in the form of y equals. So we're going to go 2y, we'll plus the 12 across, equals minus x plus 11. And then we divide the 2, y equals minus x on 2 plus 11 on 2. Okay, just make sure I've done that one right, because I lost a bit there. So 308, question D, half it. Yep, good. That's the answer they've got. Okay, so I'll go on. Where are we? Question 1. Okay, and I'll rub that out. Okay, so yeah, fair bit of working in that one. So let's see how we go to the next one. I might just rub this one out. Okay, so question D. They give us a clue to the gradient and they give us a point. So we're going to use this formula again. Firstly, so we know the coordinate, but we just need to find the gradient. At the moment, they've got 2x minus y equals 6. If I plus the y across, 2x equals y plus 6. Subtract the 6 back. 2x minus 6 equals y. We can now see that the gradient is 2. So we now have the gradient and we have a point. So we can use the point gradient formula, which is this one here. I'll just rub that out. Remember, the gradient is 2. Okay, so let's have a go at question D. So write out the formula. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Remembering that the gradient is 2 and the coordinate is 5 minus 2. So we go y minus 2, or y plus 2, equals 2x minus 5. Okay, we expand it out. Y plus 2 equals 2x minus 10. They want it in gradient intercept form, so all I've got to do is subtract the 2 across. Y equals 2x minus 12. Hopefully I've done that right. Okay, they want it in gradient intercept form. That's the form they want it. Okay, next one. Question E. In question E, we can see the gradient is minus 5. They give us a clue to the point. They tell us it goes through the middle of this. So the middle of this would be minus 1, minus 1, minus 8. So I just found the midpoint between 3 and minus 5 in my head, and the midpoint of that in my head. We do have a formula for this, but if you wanted to do it on the calculator, you'd say 3 plus minus 5 and halve it, minus 10 plus minus 6 and halve it, and that's the coordinate. So we now know that the gradient is minus 5 and the coordinate they're talking about is there. So we're going to use the formula again. Okay, and it's going to be y minus 8, which is y plus 8, equals m, which is minus 5, x minus 1, or x plus 1. We expand it out. Y plus 8 equals minus 5x minus 5. We subtract the 8 across. Y equals minus 5x minus 13. And there's in our point gradient form. Okay, I'll rub that one out. We're now up to question F. Just make sure this is still recording. So I lost you guys last time. Let's start again. Where's it gone? It's still recording. It is. Okay, question F. They give us a coordinate and they give us a clue to the gradient. Now to find the gradient in F, we've got 2y equals x minus 3. We've just got to divide everything by 2, so we go y equals x over 2 minus 3 over 2. I got rid of the 2. So therefore the gradient is a half. M is 1/2. Let's rub that out, remembering that the gradient is a half. And we also know that the coordinate is 6 minus 7. So using the gradient and the coordinate, we'll write out the formula. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Let's see, so it's y minus 7, or y plus 7. Gradient is a half. X minus 6. The first thing I want to do is get rid of the 2, multiply the 2 across. 2y plus 14 equals 1. X minus 6, expand the brackets. 2y plus 14 equals x minus 6. Subtract the 14 across. 2y equals x minus 20. And lastly, divide the 2. Y equals x on 2 minus 10. Hopefully I've done that right. Okay, so there's question 1. I won't do all of question 2 because I'll run out of time. But just a reminder, in question 2, make sure it's still recording, it is, find the equation of the line that's perpendicular. So it's going to be the same working as question 1, except when we find the gradient, we've got to find the inverse reciprocal. Remember that lines that are two lines that are perpendicular or meet at right angles, m1 times m2 equals minus 1. So you've got to remember that for this bit here. So here they tell you that the gradient is a half. Okay, so the inverse negative of a half. So at the moment it is 1/2. So the perpendicular gradient, or M2, is going to be the inverse of a half is 2. So it's -2. So M1 is a half. The original gradient is a half. The inverse, or the upside down negative, is -2. So to do this question, we know that the gradient is -2 and the y-intercept is -2. Therefore, the equation of the line is y equals -2x minus 2. The gradient is -2, the y-intercept is -2. So not too hard, the first one. I'll just leave that bit on there. Second one, they're telling us that the original gradient was -5. If you like, M1 equals -5. So the perpendicular gradient must be the inverse, which is a fifth, and it's not negative, it's a plus. So the perpendicular gradient is 1/5. So remembering 1/5 is the gradient and the y-intercept is 1. Therefore, it must be y equals 1/5 x plus 1. Okay, not too bad so far. I'll do one more. Just make sure it's still recording, which it is. Did about 10 minutes last time and it just stopped recording on me for some reason. Anyway, question C, y equals 3x minus 1 and passes through the x-axis at 4. Passes through the x-axis at 4. So there's a clue there. Firstly, we'll find the gradient. The original gradient is 3, so M1 equals 3. The inverse opposite, M2 equals -1/3. So the perpendicular gradient is -1/3. And they don't seem to give us a coordinate, but they tell us the line passes through the x-axis, at 4. So let's say 4 is here. That is a coordinate. That coordinate is 4, 0. If the line passes through, we don't know which way it's going, or we know it's going -1/3, so it's coming this way, but it goes through the x-axis at 4, so that's a coordinate of 4, 0. So that's our coordinate, 4, 0, and the gradient is -1/3. So we will use the point gradient formula. Okay, remembering our coordinate is 4, 0, and our gradient is -1/3. Let's write that up here. Gradient equals -1/3, and the coordinate is 4, 0. So what we'll do is we'll stick that into the point gradient formula, because we've got a point and the gradient. So it's y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, y minus 0 equals -1/3, x minus 4. I want to get rid of the 3, I'll multiply that across. 3y minus 0, don't need that, equals -1, x minus 4. Expand the brackets, 3y equals minus x plus 4. Divide the 3 across, y equals -1/3 x plus 4 on 3. So that hopefully will get you started, and you can hopefully finish off the rest, or try to do some of those questions. But yeah, there's a lot of working in there. Remember the two formulas, they come up a lot. All right, good luck guys. I'll see you next week, I hope. Okay, bye.